Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2016 Nissan NV3500, we're going to be checking out and showing you how to install the Yakima JetStream Roof Rack system. So when it comes to these NV3500 vehicles, you know, people use them to do a ton of different things. I mean, you see these being used as work vehicles, shuttle bus type vehicles, cargo, and even what's becoming really popular is kind of converting these into almost a mini RV, if you will. And so a roof rack on something like this definitely makes a lot of sense. You know, it's really going to open up what you can use your NV3500 for. So for example, by having you know, these crossbars up here, you can use all different types of accessories, whether it might be a bike rack or a kayak carrier, load up a canoe, maybe put up a roof basket, or even maybe a you know, a cargo container where you can put a bunch of things in. Having crossbars up here is gonna, you know, really help to allow you to use all those different types of accessories and carry around a lot of different things without it, you know, taking up all the space inside of your vehicle. You know, I mentioned earlier too, a lot of people using these for work vehicles. You know, makes sense. Big, capable, you can carry around a lot of stuff. You can also put your ladders up here, you know, and make them easier to get to and function with, you know, with everything else on the inside. Doesn't end there though. You know, if you have maybe some material, maybe some tubing, piping, whatever the case may be, whatever job you're trying to get done, you know, this is really going to open up your opportunities. There is going to be two different versions of these crossbars, and the one that we're showing off here today is the black version. There's also going to be some that are available in silver as well. So a couple different choices you got to pick from there, and you know, whatever kind of floats your boat there as far as what color crossbars you want. These are going to help reduce wind noise. I mean, whenever you put something on top of your vehicle, it's going to make a little more noise. You know, chances are pretty good driving this type of vehicle anyway. Probably not something you're really concerned with, but I mean, that could get annoying. And these are really going to help kind of cut down or minimize that compared to a lot of other type of roof rack systems. They're going to have a teardrop type design, so they'll help kind of cut through that wind a little bit better. And they're also going to be made from aluminum. So really lightweight, and you're not going to have to worry about, you know, the weather tearing them up or anything like that, because you're not going to have to worry about them getting rusted out or anything along those lines. So the crossbars, they are going to allow you to use those T-track type accessories that'll go into the track there, and that's how they'll be secured, as well as those clamp-on style ones. Just make sure that they're the correct style. That way everything will bolt up properly. So you have quite a few choices there. And if we look down here where our towers are, there's going to be an open hole there, and you can fill that hole using some lock cores. All right, and if you use some lock cores, what it's going to do is essentially secure your roof rack system to your vehicle. That way you're not going to have to worry about anyone tampering with it or trying to run off with it. So if that's something you're concerned about, always an option for you. So at the end of the day, using a roof rack system like this, it just makes sense for this type of vehicle, you know, especially if you plan on carrying around a lot of things. You know, it's going to really help you out and get the job done. Now, as far as the installation goes, not going to lie, it really wasn't too bad. To be honest with you, I don't do a ton of roof racks, and so I don't have a ton of experience installing them. You know, we do our research and know a lot about them and the things that people use them for, but this is my first roof rack system on a vehicle like this, a van like this, and I was pleasantly surprised on how straightforward it was. You know, it really didn't take me a whole lot of time at all. But speaking of the installation, why don't we go ahead, pull into the garage, and put it on together now. To actually get the roof rack installed, on top of our roof here, we're going to have several mounting points, and you need to figure out which ones you're going to use, and that's going to depend on what type of, you know, roof mounted accessory you're going to be using. So be sure to check those instructions to figure out the spread and everything else. With that said, you know, we can go ahead and get started. We have these factory mounting points, and we're going to take this piece here, and this is actually going to bolt to that factory mounting point. All right, and the way that's going to happen is you're going to take one of these bolts, you're going to put on a metal flat washer, and then followed by this plastic type washer. And those are going to go in both of those openings. All right. We're going to have some squared off nuts here, and these are going to fit under there into that slot, and the bolt's going to come through and bolt to them. The issue that I've ran into is when you slide these in here, they're so far down, it's really hard for that bolt to catch, and kind of just makes things tricky to do. So I've been using some spacers. These are just some random plastic washers that I had laying around, and I mean, you can use whatever you guys got laying around the house. You know, regular washers. You can cut out, you know, maybe a piece of cardboard, something just to kind of fill this void here. So I slide them under with our spacer block. It gets it nice and close, and I like to take just like a paper clip and just kind of help center everything. And I get these started one at a time. So I'll get everything lined up, and what I'm trying to do is just get it to catch a thread or two. So it's caught, but you don't want to really tighten it because you still need to move this around and everything else. So once you have it caught, we take our paper clip, kind of sneak our spacers back out of there, and we'll do that same exact thing for this one here. As soon as that second one catches, we'll get these spacers out of the way. We'll take our Allen wrench and tighten these down. So once you have this piece completely on, you're simply going to repeat that exact same process over on the other side of our vehicle. So now what we can do is assemble our towers. That way we can get them on the actual crossbar. So with these, you can squeeze it on the side, on the cover there, and open that up. And we're going to have a hex head in there. We'll take the tool and just back that off a few turns. And what we're going to do, we're going to have these pieces, and these are going to fit inside of here. All right, so what we're going to do is get these lined up. These will kind of just snap into place, and then you can take the metal portion there, kind of hold that down, and then underneath we'll have a hex head. So we'll turn that until it catches, but we still want it to be, you know, somewhat loose, have some adjustability there, like so. And then if we grab our crossbar here on the bottom side of it, which will be this side, we're going to peel this stripping out of the way. And when I hold this down, that piece there, you can see how it's kind of hanging down. It's going to slide into the channel there on our crossbar. Now these are adjustable, okay, so you can slide these where you need them to be. I've already done some test fitting here, and what I came up with, if we look, these numbers here, about 51.5 in our case is where we want to go. So if you have the same exact vehicle, chances are really good this is going to get you going really close. And with it like set up like that, we're going to have the same amount of overhang of crossbar on each side of our vehicle, so it'll be centered. That said though, we'll go ahead and hold that in place. Start to tighten that down, and just make sure everything is straight and level. So you're going to tighten that until you hear and feel a click in your tool, and that's going to automatically torque it for you once it clicks, so you know it's going to be the proper setting as far as how tight you get it goes. Do the same thing with that other hex head screw inside of there. And we're simply just going to push our weather stripping, the stripping here back. We'll probably come back and cut it later, not really a crazy deal right now, but with that said, you're simply just going to do the same exact thing for the other end of our crossbar. So now we can take our assembly here that we put together and actually get it up on the roof. The way this is going to work, you want these caps to be open, and we're just going to line it up at the pieces that we actually bolted to the roof. Make sure both sides drop in, and then all we're going to have to do to lock them to the pieces in the roof there is just close up the cap. So now what I went ahead and done was just used a razor edge to trim our stripping here, and then I took the piece that we had removed and we're just going to transfer it over to this side. That way the whole bottom side of our crossbar will have this. And then we can take the end cap, get this lined up. These are kind of tight, so just keep that in mind. We'll get it lined up and snapped in place. So I will say I already had one of the crossbars installed, and the one that we just did together literally went on the exact same way. So if you figured one of them out, you're good to go to get the next one in. You know, everything is identical. So with that said, now you're ready to load up your favorite accessory and hit the road. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Yakima JetStream Roof Rack system on our 2016 Nissan NV3500.